Okay, so I'm running behind schedule here because I've got my Walking Dead review, my RuPaul's Drag Race review. It's actually 2 hours before the RuPaul's Drag Race premiere on Logo. But I actually, like most of you, probably saw the Facebook and the app preview where they show the entire first episode with the exception of the lip sync. So I already know who is up for elimination, and I'm going to make predictions on who I think will go home. I'm just trying to get a little bit ahead of the game because I still have the Walking Dead review and the Amazing Race review, and I'm running behind schedule. So, alright. So, on this first episode of Season 6, RuPaul has revealed the judging panel hasn't changed. Santino is still there. Michelle is still there. But Adam Lambert from American Idol was the guest judge this very first episode. So, kind of think that works in Adore Delano's favor because RuPaul does seem to like American Idol, despite the fact that she is the fan favorite, and the fan favorite usually goes home pretty early. This might actually help Adore Delano in the fact that she is from American Idol. Now, the pit crew seems to now be sponsored by the Scruff app, so there's some product placement that Ru is having. And in a first for this show, only 7 of the queens performed in this first episode, and then the next week, the second 7 will perform. I kind of like this idea because you get to know the queens a little bit more, but I want to see all 14 of them compete. I don't like the fact I didn't get to see Courtney, so it's kind of disappointing for this first episode. But yeah, the second 7 will be revealed next week. Since we know there's 7 this week and 7 next week, that kind of throws out the window the idea that I had that somebody was coming back. So apparently no one is coming back. So Alyssa Summers is not going to be back. But the queens come in to the workroom. Adore Delano is the first one. She seemed very funny, had the same attention whore status that Willem had, and being that RuPaul apparently likes American Idol, like I said, she was the first one in the door, so I guess that kind of helps her out. Ben de la Creme came in next. Now, Ben de la Creme does seem like she's going to be a little bit annoying, but I did like the line where Adore goes, "What's your sign?" and she goes, "Oh, I never got one of those." Gia Gunn came in next. Now, Gia Gunn came in looking like one of the Kardashians. She's the Asian on this season. But she's definitely no Manila Luzon. She came in with a very big ego. She had this huge, giant purse that they described as like a hula hoop with a pocket. But, I mean, this thing was human-sized. It was giant. You could have carried Angina in that thing. I mean, it was so freaking huge. But I noticed something throughout this episode. Gia looked stoned. So I don't think that's going to be a good thing. I think she's going to wear on my nerves pretty soon. But she did get a lot of airtime, so maybe that means she goes quite far in this season. Then Laganja Estranja enters with a giant feather on her head and a clashing colors. I didn't like any of that outfit. The only thing I liked was the fact that she came in and did a split as soon as she came in. And she knows Adore Delano, so I'm thinking somewhere down the line, Adore Delano and Laganja Estranja are going to end up having to lip sync for their lives against one another. And in that case, I expect Laganja to try to pull out that split again. But I think Adore Delano will probably beat her in the lip sync. Then April Carry-On came walking in the door with a parachute dragging behind her. In military fatigue, it looked like Alexis Mateo had airlifted in from a war zone. She reminded me a lot of Alexis Mateo, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, she's very beautiful, and Alexis Mateo is one of my favorites, but I think it was just, you want to stand out and be different and be yourself. You don't want to remind others of previous queens from previous seasons. Then we had Kelly Mantle, who came in with a bright, colorful dress, but a very old hairstyle. She looked very boring. And there wasn't that charisma that you kind of expect from somebody that is from Hollywood and is famous, an actor, like as she said. She had that very Willem-esque personality, but Willem at least was funny and one of my favorites, but Kelly so far is not. Then ViVacious was the last one to enter. Now remember I said ViVacious was one of the ones I thought would go home early this season? Quite possible. Still yet. ViVacious entered with this giant mannequin on her head with like green eyes. And she goes to unzip it to reveal her head, and it pretty much took until season 7 before she got the thing unzipped and revealed herself. But I actually like her. I really think I'm going to like her for the rest of the season. She's going to be one of my favorites. Then we get script. This is just proof this is a scripted reality TV show. Because ViVacious goes over to the table and she goes, I can't wait to see the next queen. And Gia Gunn pipes in. She's a very bad actor, Gia Gunn. Because her line goes something like, oh, I wonder if it's going to be manly or fishy, blah, blah, blah. It was, but you could just tell by that point that it was obvious that they already knew the plot twist. Because by the time RuPaul entered with the she-male bit and comes walking down the stairs, they already had known that twist, even though they acted surprised. Then we get the theme for the challenges this episode. All tea, all shade. And it's all about TV shows. You have your annual photo shoot with Mike Ruiz where they either drown or fall or parachute or, you know, jump on a trampoline or something. Anyway, this time they fall off of a platform into this pit of balls in front of this, you know, the TV prompter for the green screen effect. But, I didn't like it. Didn't like the challenge. Laganja Strange ended up winning, and I don't know why, because I didn't like her photo shoot. Maybe it's just, I don't know. I liked Laganja in the cast preview video, and I liked her looks that I have seen online. I'm just not getting it from this first episode. Hopefully that will change. But the main challenge was a TV-themed dress-up. I like the fact that they actually... Okay. Temporary setback. It's a good thing I have 2 iPhones because my iPhone just filled up with that last little bit of video, so I'm having to upload that to YouTube while I film the next part. I'm going to try to make this quick. I like the fact that they did a Duck Dynasty, considering how homophobic that show is, but they made Duck Dynasty in drag for this TV challenge. Laganja, because she was the winner of the mini challenge, she got to pick which shows the other queens would get, and she shafted her friend Adore because she ended up giving her the worst one, Honey Boo Boo. She gave Duck Dynasty to April, and of course April had to be all drama queen about it. Keeping Up with the Kardashians went to Gia Gunn. That was a shocker. Now, when Rue was visiting them in the workroom, she kind of was hating on Adore. She was like, she doesn't understand why the young queens don't know how to sew. Rue. So what do you got to get with the program? Because it's like, sewing machines were so 1971. I mean, in a few years, you're going to be able to 3D print a dress. So there's not really a need. Even the glue gun's going to be gone in a few years. But when the runway challenge took place, I actually liked most of the runway looks. I actually liked all of them, except most of them didn't fit with their TV show for this challenge. Gia Gunn, I mean, she looked absolutely plain. April made the best of the Duck Dynasty, but I don't think she needed that duck prop that she dragged around. It kind of went with the whole military fatigue look that she did when she came in the workroom, so I'm hoping she's not going to get boxed in. Laganja was Dancing with the Stars, and she looked okay, but, I mean, her head was wrapped in a sequined, it looked like a sequined bandage, like she had tooth surgery or something. No one got it. I didn't like it. It was kind of weird. And then Kelly Mantle, she was bringing high fashion pig farm realness, because it did actually look like she was wrapped in bacon. Adore Delano, she did the Honey Boo Boo. She looked like a 1980s Barbie doll. ViVacious. I liked ViVacious' look, but it did not look Game of Thrones to me at all. She could have done something a lot. She could have looked a lot more medieval, and it would have fit the theme. Benedict Delacreme, she did look like Michelle Visage. But ultimately it ended up being ViVacious and Kelly Mantle having a lip sync. Now, like I said, it's 2 hours before actually 1 hour now, before the premiere. So I'm not sure who will go home. I think ViVacious, I had originally said that ViVacious would probably go home the first 2 weeks. I'm hoping that I was wrong, though that her whole get-up this week did look very LaShawn Beyond, very gimmicky. So it's very possible she could go home. Kelly Mantle being the more experienced one, Rue might give her a second chance. Kelly Mantle did not have the charisma that ViVacious has, and I think if we're basing it on charisma and uniqueness, ViVacious wins and Kelly Mantle goes home. So I'm hoping that RuPaul kind of strikes out Kelly Mantle and sends her home. Get her out of the ballpark. Let's get on with the second half of the season premiere. And now I gotta go do my Amazing Racer.